Hi guys, welcome to the Beyond the Game podcast. My name is Jess Crowe and I'm joined here today with George Scrimshaw. George, how's it going?
All good, thank you. How are you?
Great stuff. Yeah, well, good, thank you. Today we're going to be learning all about you, your career and your life outside of the game. So to start, what was your first experience picking up the cricket ball?
I think from as early as I can remember, it would be a quick cricket ball. It's probably every cricketer's memory, I would say. And just bowling it down a net and also whacking a ball, and that's literally all you could remember. And it was out on a field, no nets, and it would just be a lot of fun. That's probably the first core memory.
Wonderful. And how did you first fall in love with the game?
I think just because my dad and granddad loved the game, and then I would be introduced to it. And I think the first thing I would play would be quick cricket, and then be on to like hardball stuff from 8 to like 10, probably as early as that. But yeah, I just always used to love bowling fast, and I fell in love with it ever since. So.
Great stuff. And who were some of your biggest inspirations growing up in the game?
I think we couldn't look far past Freddie Flintoff. He was like the main character, all from 2005 onwards, and he was a big inspiration. Bowler all rounder, and then Brett Lee as well, who's another fast bowler who always looked up to and enjoyed watching. So.
Brilliant. Are there any players that you looked up to as a youngster that you've now actually grown up to share the field with?
Share the field with. There's a lot of players who I used to watch and knew how good they were, and I think I probably have shared the pitch with a few of them, apart from obviously Flintoff and that sort of Ashes team. But yeah, there's a few people who I used to watch on TV and I've played with and against, so that's pretty cool.
Great stuff. And now let's talk about your county career then. So making a start at Worcestershire 2016, debut in 2017. Talk to me about your development through the club and how you got started.
Yeah, so it all got stripped back to when I was about 13. I got picked up or invited to come down and train with Worcester Satellite Academy it was. And there was only 5 of us on it. It was a guy called Dave Manning, and he invited me down. And then after that, got invited to join the Worcester Academy to train 2 or 3 times a week if I could. So it was like finish school and then go to Malvern College, which was around an hour and a half from where I live, so it's quite far. So I'd have to rely on mum and dad and granddad and stuff. So that was good. But yeah, from 13 to 17 was sort of the block of where I got to train on the academy, and then when I was, I think, 18, I signed my first professional career with Worcester.
Nice. And now then you moved to Derbyshire in 2021. What was that like as an experience for you? What's the club like as a whole?
Derbyshire.
Derbyshire, yes, yeah.
Yeah, so I was at Worcester from 2017 till 2020, but probably 2.5 of those years were very heavily injury ridden after only playing maybe a handful of games. And then, so I was out of contract at Worcester, and then 2021, got invited down by Steve Kirby and Dave Houghton, who was the head coach at the time. I was trying there for a few months, and then happily they gave me a chance, and I spent 3 years at the club and loved every year there. So it's a very special part of my career that sort of reignited it and put me back on the map. And yeah, I love playing for Derbyshire.
Excellent. And now your most recent move to your current club, Northamptonshire. Talk to me about those guys there. How have you seen yourself develop as a player during your time at the club?
Yeah, well into this year. Obviously, last year was my first year, didn't go according to plan. I wanted an injury-free year, and I only played 3 T20s and a championship game, so that was quite tough. So having a long time out to then come back over it again and start the season well, I'm very happy with. So I really like my time there so far, and hopefully I can keep contributing and keep going.
Brilliant. And you mentioned there about the injuries you face. Of course, it's all part of being an athlete, unfortunately. How do you find you come back from those setbacks of having an injury?
It's very tough. I'm sure every player will tell you how hard it is. So to get another big one like that was quite tough to take. But I think your mind just sort of tells you you've been there before. There's no reason why you can't come back again. As frustrating as it is, it's unfortunately part and parcel of it. And you try and do everything you can to not get the same injury again. So I'm still finding out more and more about my body every year and doing more things to sort of combat not getting it again. So hopefully at some point I will have figured it out and I can just keep playing all year round.
Yeah, and I'm sure during those times it's more important than ever to have a good support system around you, with coaches and friends and family. Who are some of those people within cricket that really stuck by you during those tough times?
Yeah, 100%. Can't look past science and medical team. They always help you through, and head coach at the time gave me a very good balance of home time and also coming in enough times in the week if I was happy to, just to keep on top of things and not be completely out of the picture and show your face. It's always important to do that rather than just keep yourself in a little bubble and not let anyone see you. So that was very nice of the club to help me through that. And obviously, mum, dad, family, my partner, they're always there for me. So it's just very, it's important to have them people and spend time and get that balance right, like I said.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's look at your life beyond the game then. So if you weren't a cricket player, what would you be and why?
I think footballer, only just because I'm a massive football fan. And that was the only other sport I would play growing up. And I used to love it. So I think that would be a pretty cool job as well.
Great stuff. And now, apart from football, if you could play any other sport professionally, you don't necessarily have to be good at it, but what would it be?
Yeah. I want to say golf, but it bores me a little bit. So probably not that one. Uh, Darts would be quite funny. Well,
Yes,
not funny, but fun. It would be fun.
yeah, we had Nathan Souter saying he considers himself a darts player. So
Yeah,
you two.
I think I'd enjoy that. But I'd probably want to be good at it, but it's good.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, and now away from cricket, then, what does a typical day off look like for you?
For me, be very heavy recovery related. So I'll be, ice bath, stretching, gym, and then if I've got all that out of the way, then can go home, as in where mum and dad live and my friends live, which is about half an hour away. So potentially visiting them, or if my partner's off, which is quite rare at the minute, that we have both days off together. But we'll just go and do something. Probably go to the pool and sauna, or go for a walk and grab a coffee. That's normally the standard thing that we would do. Yeah, that's probably what I'd say.
Lovely, sounds ideal. Okay, then, and away from cricket, what are some interesting hobbies or interests that you have?
I think so. The three main things growing up was like cricket, football, and music. So I love my music. And then now I love going by myself to a coffee shop, or I just try and fill my time with, if my friends are off, I'll go see them and go to the pub, or pretty simple for me. But yeah,
Nice.
those things bring me like joy in life. So
Nice. Yeah, I remember you saying you're quite into your music. What are some bands or singers you're interested in?
I like pop punk or indie rock. So you've got like big bands like Oasis, The Killers, and Razorlight, and Blink-182, Arctic Monkeys, Red Hot Chili Peppers. All them types of bands are like really good for me.
Great stuff. Are you a concert person or not so much?
I am, yeah. I've only ever been to two,
Okay.
because of obviously cricket in the summer. But I went to Leeds Fest last year because I was injured, and then the year before that there was a window where I could go. So I went to Leeds Fest twice. That was pretty cool. And then hopefully this year, if it doesn't clash, I might be able to see Oasis, which would be wicked.
Great stuff. That'd be
Yeah,
so good. I've heard great things. Okay,
yeah.
then. So sticking with that sort of genre, then, what is one thing that people will be surprised to know about you?
Um, I really don't know. I can't think off the top of my head that any like weird, interesting fact. Or loved coffee, loved music, loves ice bath, cricket, football. I'm a Leeds fan. That's not really a secret, really, but
didn't they win something recently, Leeds?
we're back in the Premier League now, so I'm very, very happy about that.
Beautiful, great stuff. Okay, then heading back to the Northants side of things, then let's look at the dressing room and the team as a whole. Who is one of the loudest or biggest personality you have in the dressing room?
Loudest. Dave Willie can be quite loud, but he also keeps himself to himself. It's a new signing for us this year. He's quite loud. Lloyd Pope, Australian leg spinner. He loves to pipe up in the dressing room. He's quite a funny character. A few of the young lads, they're always loud. But yeah, there's very like mixed characters in the dressing room, and that's why we all get on so well.
Great stuff. That sounds good. Now, on the team bus or the plane on the way to a pre-season tour, who is someone you're staying clear of and someone you're definitely sitting next to?
I feel like it's the same people who sit next to each other mainly. So I've been sitting next to George Bartlett and Ben Sanderson, sort of at the back of the bus, and then you've got people who like play the games in the middle. But I wouldn't say there's anyone like, I don't want to sit next to you. There's literally some people just put their headphones in and just shut themselves out. But yeah, I'll sit next to George Bartlett, Ben Sanderson, Lloyd Pope. There's a few characters I'd sit next to.
That's good. There's a few stories I've heard from other counties. There's people you definitely want to stay clear of, so it's nice that you've got a good mix in the team.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, then. All right, keep sticking with the county theme then. What is your favourite ground to play at on the county circuit?
At the minute, it would be Northampton. Used to be Derby. Used to love playing at Derby with the wicket was good. But for atmosphere, Northampton's actually really good. And then probably joint top or second, I'd say Edgbaston. That's always a great place to play.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think I might know what the answer is, but what ground is the best team lunches?
Best team lunches.
As you call them.
I've only ever eaten once at Lords, but that could have been the big answer that everyone said yes. But Yorkshire's good. Yorkshire's been good for me.
Yeah, nice. I thought you'd go with Lord straight away. That's been the most common answer so far. So
yeah, I've literally only ever been once, so I can't give an opinion on that one.
No, it's definitely top tier. Okay, then. Now, if you could play in any cricket match that's ever happened in history, which one would it be and why?
I think a lot of people must have said this. It's got to be the Ashes or a T20 Cup final against West Indies. I would love to have been involved in that. But yeah, I think to be a part of the Ashes and to bowl in that and take wickets in front of that crowd would have been amazing. Yeah,
no, definitely a good answer. Okay, then moving on to the franchise side of things. Then you made your first franchise appearance with the Welsh Fire in the 100 in 2022 and 2023 as well. Those guys. Talk to me about the Fire as a franchise, but also the 100 as a whole as a competition.
Yeah, Welsh Fire. I really love my time there, and would definitely go back. Hopefully, someone will pick me up this year, and I get to play at these grounds and in the competition again. But I think the competition as a whole, just the standards, incredible. Like the amount of good players that are in the competition, and the people who get in as wild cards sometimes don't always play. That's how strong the teams are. That's what it was like in 2023. I was unfortunately stuck behind Dave Willie, Harris Ralph, Shaheen Afridi, Matt Henry, Lockie Ferguson. So I don't think I was ever going to play, to be honest. So it was as the team were winning, I was very happy that the team were winning, but I'd have loved to have played a part in that team. And then obviously got injured for the next year and didn't get back in. But yeah, it's 100's great competition, and I'd love to be back in.
Yeah, and what's it like as a player? Because I've heard, of course, that the 100 is, well, I know for a fact that it's quite a different almost format to the T20 game because it's so many different rules. You can bowl 2 overs from the same end. They're not even called overs. But what's that like as a player going into the game?
Yeah, so they're called sets, aren't they now? So you bowl 2 sets, which is obviously 5 balls. But I think the batter goes at like different times, so it's quite hard to. You've still got to bowl your best ball, but I think you also got to maybe think ahead even more, because the batter might be more aggressive earlier in an over, and then you get used to the fact that it is five balls and extras become even bigger. So, and then 2022, I did bowl a 10 ball over with a wide in there as well. So that was a very taxing over for me.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Okay, then moving on to in 2023, winter 2023, you went and played in the Abu Dhabi T10 for the New York Strikers, then winning that competition. What is that competition like, and what's the standard of cricket like over there?
Yeah, lucky enough to be picked and then to be involved in that competition was one of the best things I've been a part of, to be honest. And of course, winning the competition was, in front of that crowd was quite something. I'm not sure how many people were there, but it felt like to be called on in that final after only playing a couple of games was amazing. So I really enjoyed my 2 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. And now you were picked for that final, as you said, and you made a big impact as well on the game. What was that? Can you remember your emotions during that final?
Yeah, so we warmed up in the back nets on the far side. And then head coach Carl he goes, "You're in tonight," and I was like, "Nice." I was really excited to be part of that final, but I didn't expect to be picked. To be honest, I knew I had 2 decent games, and then to finally walking into the crowd, looking up, it's actually quite a big stand when you're there, and it was hostile atmosphere, and then there was a little bit of nerves, but surprisingly, I was fine on the actual day. And then to get a wicket with the first ball was massive relief.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Great stuff. And then you went on most recently in 2024 to play in the BPL, the Bangladesh Premier League. Now, I've never been over that side of the world before. What is that like as a place? What are the fans like? What was the crowd like?
Yeah, so I can't actually give an opinion on that, only because I withdrew from the competition because I had an injury. Otherwise, I would have gone.
Joking.
Yeah, so I was selected for the Sylhet Strikers for that month and a bit in February. But yeah, hopefully again in the future I can be involved. But from what I hear, the crowds are very good, especially towards semi-finals and finals. I think the pitches would be a lot different, and obviously to see what the local talent would be like there compared to back here would be very interesting as well.
Yeah, and are there any sort of, obviously there's franchise tournaments popping up all over the world now, all year long. Are there any in particular that you have your eye on that you're kind of striving for?
100%, yeah. I think the big one would be the IPL, to play in front of them crowds and have that sort of light on you, and performing in them sort of crowds would be unbelievable. And then you've got ILT20, FA20. Those are some of the ones I really like to play in. T10 again, I'd love to be involved in that. There's Sri Lanka T10, love to see what that's like. Just all of them, to be honest. I think it's every cricketer's dream who plays 2020, and once they do well, you want to see how well you can do in all the comps. So yeah, it's a massive dream of mine to be involved in that.
Yeah, definitely. And now let's touch on your England debut then, of course. Can't miss that out. You made your England ODI debut in September 2023 versus Ireland, taking 3 wickets on debut. Talk to me about your emotions during that time. And can you remember picking up the phone and getting the call?
Yes, so I do remember the call. It was actually my head coach, Mickey, at the time, who told me I was going to be picked, or said, "You've got a phone call waiting for you." And then picked up the phone. I was at Scarborough in a 4-day game, and it was Luke Wright on the phone. And yeah, I was absolutely over the moon. And then to get the actual game day, my body was hurting a little bit, but I was never going to miss an opportunity to play for England. There was a few nerves, but no like extra nerves or anything. And then I had a bit of a shaky start with, I think, about 4, maybe 5 no balls in the game. So the first 2 overs didn't go according to plan, but I had good backing from the captain, Zach Crawley, and he kept bowling me and then brought me on later in the game and sort of settled in a little bit better. It was nothing how I normally would bowl, but just to play for England was a really proud day.
Brilliant, great stuff. Okay then, and now besides the franchise cricket side of things, what are some? How do you see your career playing out? What are some goals you have for your entire career?
I think definitely I would like to play for England again. I think I can do that, and I want to keep playing both formats as long as I can. And then, if my body holds up, I'd love to play both for as long as I can, and to play for England either in white ball or red ball again would be brilliant. To get into more franchises and just being a very well established county cricketer. That's my goal really, and make it last as long as I can.
Excellent. Sounds great. Okay then, so to finish up the podcast, we're going to play a couple of little games. The first one is this or that with fast bowlers. Shaheen Afridi or Mitch Starc?
Shaheen Afridi.
Okay, Shaheen Afridi or Mark Wood?
Shaheen Afridi.
Oh, okay, Shaheen Afridi or Trent Boult?
Afridi.
Afridi?
Yeah.
Okay. Shaheen Afridi or Pat Cummins?
Pat Cummins, because he's very good at batting as well.
Very good. Okay, then Pat Cummins or Anrik Nortje?
Cummins. I'll stay with Cummins.
Pat Cummins or Jasprit Bumrah?
Bumrah, I think.
Okay. Bumrah or Jofra Archer?
Jofra, I think.
Gotta say Joff. Okay. Yeah. Archer or Matisha Patharana?
Jofra.
Okay. Jofra or Lockie Ferguson?
I'll stick with Jofra.
Wonderful. There we go.
Nice.
Okay, great stuff. And then just to finish up, we do a segment on the podcast where the last guest asks you a question and then you ask the next guest a question, but they don't know who you are and vice versa. So I'm going to play you a clip from the last guest now. If you can't hear it, we'll just play it again.
Okay.
Who is faster over the outfield?
Did you hear that?
I didn't hear the start, so it was who is faster over the outfield, but what was there?
That's right. That was the question. So between you and him, who's faster in the outfield?
Me and South.
Yeah.
I would have to say South, I think.
South. Well, he is the racing snake. That is his nickname.
Oh, really? He's very quick. He covers a lot of ground. He's a good fielder. So
that's very humble of you. Very humble. Okay, and now you can have a minute to think, but I want you to ask the next guest a question without knowing who they are.
Okay, who will win a game of FIFA, me or the next man?
Very, very good question, and we'll find out in the next episode. Well, George, thank you so much for joining us here today. It's been a pleasure.
No problem.